Indigenous developments, make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, we keep on hearing these terms. But now, indigenous developments for the defense sector are getting a major push. The Indian Army are using these indigenous products, and forces around the world are also taking note and showing interest. Everything you're going to see on the show now has been completely designed, developed and manufactured here in India, from T-90 tank driving and gunnery simulators, to infantry weapons training simulators, to a weapon which can shoot around the corner. Everything that you're going to see now has been made in India. I'm Shivan Chanana and this is Battle Cry. When we talk about infantry weapons, AK-47s, rocket launchers, anti-tank guided missiles, automatic grenade launchers, multi-grenade launchers, 81mm mortar. Now, all these weapons have varying ranges from a few hundred meters to a few kilometers. Now, infantry soldiers have to train on these. They need that practice. But where do they get that kind of range? That is where this next development comes in. This is completely indigenously made, and this is called an infantry weapons training simulator. And everything you're going to see and hear now is as close as it gets to a real weapon. This is an MMG. Only difference between this and a real one is that this is simulating a real shooting and a real firing. This is an infantry weapons training simulator and has been developed completely in India. The Indian Army has been procuring it to train infantry soldiers. The weapon that you just saw me using is an MMG. It was used in 1965 by the Indian Army, in 1971 and then again in 1999. It is an integral part for any infantry soldier to be trained on the MMG. But the range that you get on this medium machine gun is up to 1800 meters. Where do you get that kind of range in an actual scenario? That's where simulators come in handy. This one is completely indigenously developed and it can be set up indoors, and you don't need 1800 meters of range. You can set it up indoors and all you need is a projector to simulate that kind of distance on a target which is on a screen in front. It's not just with the MMG. You can simulate the same thing with this kind of weapon. This, of course, is the AK-47. It weighs the same as an actual AK-47. It shoots like an AK-47, just that it's not firing actual bullets. So we'll continue with the AK-47 to explain to you how exactly the range can be altered. Here we have an integrated laser unit which says L2. Now, the AK-47 I have in my hand, I'll use it to aim at lane 2. Right now, the target has been set at 20 meters. Now, I'll increase the target and take it back to 50 meters. There you go. So the one thing which I found really intriguing is the fact that the recoil on these weapons is simulated to the real one. So how do you get that recoil? Basically, the gun is not shooting any bullets, but there is compressed air or carbon dioxide depending on the weapon that you're using. You fill that into this magazine. This is the AK-47 magazine, and this is a CO2 cylinder we have. You press it down, count to 2, and that's all. And it's filled up. This has about 30 rounds in it. I can put it back in and go in for another shooting bout. Now here is another infantry weapon I need you to focus on. This is the AGL, the automatic grenade launcher, very commonly used by the NSG, the Special Forces, CRPF, CISF, ITBP. Now this one again has an 1800 meter range. You'll probably need to go to Rajasthan and have an open space of about 5 to 6 kilometers to practice on this. So where do the soldiers go? This is the simulator which comes in handy. And this is built just like a real AGL, AGS. You can set the altitude, and once the target is set, then you shoot. So this is what it is, and it will take a couple of seconds before you hear the explosion. There you go. This infantry weapons training simulator with all these kind of infantry weapons is already in use with the Indian Army. Not only does it give more practice to the soldiers, but it also boosts their confidence. Along with what you're getting to see, there is also a feedback system which is integrated with this simulator, which tells the soldier that these were your shortcomings and this is what you need to work on. So overall, this is the next way of practicing for the infantry soldiers. This next development we're going to talk about is called the Tactical Engagement Simulator, and it is basically used to simulate force-on-force combat training exercises which army personnel need to go through on a regular basis. Now you see, in real time, on ground, to monitor each and every soldier is not possible. But with this Tactical Engagement Simulator, every aspect of that drill is captured from a control center, because each and every soldier is made to wear a body harness which has sensors, and the weapon that they are using is also integrated with a laser unit. Every part of this exercise is monitored and recorded, and there is a feedback session which goes on after that as well. Take a look at this one. It's extremely interesting. This right here is the Tactical Engagement Simulator. Now what happens here is you see a number of screens and you see this body harness that I am wearing. Now all of this works together along with the helmet and the weapon, which is also laser based. How do we use it? We'll start one by one. This is the body harness which is laden with sensors all around it. So all these that you see, they are all sensors at most of the vital points of the body. It has a GPS which is right here. It has a radio frequency which is at the back, as you can see. There is a speaker here as well at the back that you can hear. Now these sensors, they are able to receive frequencies coming in from different weapons, and these weapons are laser based. So the weapon that I'm showing you right now, actual bullets are not going to get fired from it, but there's a laser unit over here. This laser unit, when I fire from this, will be caught here, in the sense that these sensors will be able to tell you that you have been hit without an actual bullet coming in. So if I aim at this mannequin, it could be another soldier, and I strike there. And if you see this, it will say soldier is killed. So how is this entire process used? Two teams are made, and wherever, whichever locality or whichever kind of situation on the map that they are using to train in, that is simulated here. So we have a 2D map over here. This is sort of used through Google Maps. One of these is me, the other one is a stationary one, which is right here. There is a field outside. This is another one which has been simulated. This is a map. If I were to tell you what this actually looks like, this is actually this area right here. This entire field has been simulated in the map that we are seeing inside. There is an exercise controller who's sitting here and monitoring each and every soldier and seeing how badly they are hit or how well they are doing. Now, this is the device which will give you all the information. Over here, I am currently number 3, and this will also tell me if I have been hit badly enough or whether I have taken a fatal hit. Now, this entire TACSIM, this Tactical Engagement Simulator, there is a lot of interest in it from the Indian Army units, and there is a lot of interest in it from overseas as well. So the attacker is hiding behind a wall and is armed. The army personnel, the soldier, is hiding behind another wall. Now, if you want to shoot back, you need to expose yourself by stepping out. How do you not do that? How do you keep yourself safe? You use a round-the-corner weapon. This is what the shoot edge is, which we want to talk about next. And a lot of army and police personnel are interested in this weapon, indigenously developed here in India. Around the corner shootouts. It is something which happens very regularly in a lot of insurgency areas, terrorist infested areas, and a weapon which can accommodate this kind of a situation, keeping the soldiers safe, that is what the shoot edge is all about, for around the corner shootouts. Now, how does it manage this kind of a situation without exposing the soldier? That is what I'm going to demonstrate to you. So instead of stepping out fully and firing back, this can be tilted towards this side, and only this part needs to be exposed and the firing can continue. This is how the weapon is used, and you simply mount it with a pistol. This current model can be mounted with a Glock 17, a Glock 19, a 9mm Browning. Different kind of pistols can be accommodated in the same fitting, and the entire view is here in the viewfinder, which is a 3.5-inch screen. Now, for safety measures, when you are tilting at any angle, that is when the trigger gets locked. So if I'm still turning it, you see the trigger will not go back fully. It's only when it assumes final position, that is when the trigger can be pulled. If I'm turning it to the right, until it finds its final destination in terms of the angle, I will not be able to pull the trigger. So only when it reaches here, only when it's locked can I pull the trigger. That's a safety measure which has been given. Now, the weapon has been equipped with an IR camera, which you'll get right in front. There is a laser which is right in front, and a tactical torch. The sliding mechanism, which gives it the ability to turn on either side, it is maneuvered from the base here. So once you press down on this from both sides, you pull it back and it slides to the right by 65 degrees. You bring it forward, stop in the center, and the pistol is now facing forward, and you slide it fully all the way to the front, and it stops to the left side. So front for the left and slide it back to take it to the right. The sliding mechanism, the smoothness of the sliding mechanism is what it makes it completely different from all predecessors. So this is one development, this is one weapon which a lot of units of the army have also shown interest in. The NSG will be using these, police in J&K will also be using these, and more units in the army are expected to be using these in times to come. This is totally developed in India.
Not only 9mm pistol Glock 17, जैसे आप देख सकते हैं अंडर बैरल ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर यहाँ पर जो लगा हुआ है, जिसके अंदर अंडर बैरल ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर होगा ताकि आपको ग्रेनेड अगर फायर करने की जरूरत पड़ी तो ये भी क्या है, आराम से टिल्ट हो जाता है. आप कमरे के अंदर जो भी छुपा है उनको देख के मॉनिटर के जरिए देख के इसके अंदर फायर कर सकते हैं विदाउट एक्सपोजिंग योरसेल्फ.
और ये अटैचमेंट जो है ये सेपरेटली इसके साथ आएगी, ये आप उसके साथ और किसी गन के साथ नहीं अटैच कर सकते.
हाँ, जो भी 3 वेरिएंट जो हमने बनाया, अलग से फोर स्ट्रोक जो भी इसका चेंज होगा, जैसे 9mm पिस्टल के लिए यूज कर रहे थे इसका फोर स्ट्रोक चेंज होगा, तो ग्लॉक 17, ग्लॉक 19 के लिए हमने एक ही वर्जन बना दिया. इसके अलावा अंडर बैरल ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर इसके अंदर हमने बनाया ताकि ग्रेड का भी इस्तेमाल करने की जरूरत पड़ा तो आप वहां पर ग्रेड का भी यूज कर सकते हैं.
So this next experience was another very unique one. All I can say is that when we talk about hand grenades, to hold an actual hand grenade, when you know that it has the capacity to explode and kill, it can be a very nerve-wracking experience for anyone. That is why this next one is actually a hand grenade simulator, but mind you, it is used for practice, but it explodes and sounds just like the real one. This is an HE36, a hand grenade. This is the simulated version. It weighs exactly like the real one and looks exactly like the real one, and this is how the simulated blast looks like. So, as you saw, this is where it landed. This is where the explosion happened, and you can easily pick it up again. It's not going to burn my hand. It has not exploded, but the sound that you heard and the explosion, the smoke that it created, that is very close to what the actual explosion is like. So this is the hand grenade that we had just used to demonstrate how the simulated explosion looks like. Now, for any soldier, going through grenade training is a must. What is done is that in this simulated version of the HE36, they have a pyrotech cartridge which is put inside. This gives the look of an explosion, and it sounds like an explosion, but there is actually no shrapnel or anything coming out of it. This is put inside, as is demonstrated over here, and it is being simulated to the T. So there is a safety ring which is exactly like the real one, and there is a lever which also flies out as soon as you release the ring and throw the hand grenade. changing and putting in the pyrotech cartridge takes just about half a minute to at most 45 seconds. Training a soldier to drive and fire from a T-90 tank can take anywhere between 3 to 4 months. It obviously costs a lot in monetary terms, but it also costs a lot of engine hours when you talk about the actual T-90 tank, which takes a toll on the tank's life as well. Soldiers are now also training on T-90 driving and gunnery simulators. And from outside, these simulators actually look like these two containers that you see right behind me. But when you step inside, it's like you're sitting inside the actual T-90 tank and you cannot tell the difference. So a soldier needs to undergo a certain specific number of driving hours before they can take the tank on ground. Now, when it comes to tanks, if we take the T-90 specifically, it travels 1 kilometer and absorbs 4 liters of fuel. So you can well imagine if soldiers are going to train on it, what kind of fuel is absorbed, what kind of resources are absorbed. How do you tackle all of that? You make a simulator, and this simulator has been indigenously developed in India from scratch. Armenians are interested in it, Russians are interested in it, people all over the world are impressed with it. This is the T-90 driving simulator. Everything you see inside is exactly what a T-90 tank looks like from inside. From the gear, which you see on the right, to the two levers that you see right in front of you, which help you turn left and right, and there's the clutch, brake and the accelerator right in front, and then there is a fan which is right in front of the driver's face, because it really gets claustrophobic and heated up when you're sitting inside. When you're sitting inside and you need to get driving experience, obviously terrains are going to be different all across India. So how do you do that? There is a software which is attached to this simulator which simulates the different kinds of terrains that are there. Now all that happens from the machinery that you see below. This helps to give the tank, or rather the driver sitting inside the tank driving compartment, the feel that they are in different terrains. And what all terrains are there? You have a snowy terrain, you have forest terrain, you have desert terrain, you have semi-desert terrain, you have terrain which mimics regions that you will find in the higher Himalayas. Everything can be simulated for a driver to get the exact driving experience that he or she needs. So we are currently inside the turret of the tank, and here I'm sitting on the commander's seat, and then there is the shooter's, the firer's seat as well, which is right next to me. You have different viewfinders, and you can only look through one eye. This will give you the different night visions, and this is exactly how much space you have inside. It's simulated exactly like an actual T-90, that is why this is the kind of view we are giving you. So this is the turret of the T-90, and I'm sitting in the commander's seat right now, and my friend here is sitting in the shooter's seat, and here is where you practice the gunnery. So that was our show, ladies and gentlemen, indigenous Indian developments which are generating interest all over the world. Stay tuned to Battle Cry for the latest developments in the defense sector. I'm Shivan, signing off.